I'm Andrew Chin. I work as a financial advisor.
My name is Kyron Pulfreman. I'm a 37-year-old builder in Cape Town.
My name is Tux Viviers, obviously a nickname.
I was often referred to as Bob the Builder.
I sell hamburgers, like I tell people.
I'm Barkai, 53 years old, married, 4 kids, 2 dogs, Bonnie and Clyde.
My name is Ryan Stramrud. I'm an advertisement broker. I have a small company of my own and we specialize in advertising sales, traditional and digital.
I'm the CEO of KG's Holdings. That's where the grey hair comes from, you know.
You can swim for an hour training session and you get a good workout and you're able to come home and spend time with the family and it doesn't impact too much on their lives.
I started swimming purely because I was spending far too much time on the couch, eating too much, enjoying the remote control, and I needed something in my life to get me off the couch, I suppose, and do something healthy.
Brought together by a common passion for extreme swimming, these 5 South Africans have been facing cold water challenges around the world. Between them, they have swam in Zurich, Antarctica, the English Channel, and in the dangerous waters between Cape Town and Robben Island. 2009 was their first team swim. Together they swam 13.2 kilometers in the icy waters of Alaska.
I'm the restless one who pushed to let's do this and let's do this, and I like the challenges.
You know, Tux is hard as nails. He just puts his head down and goes.
With Andrew, we've got someone who's a little bit more conservative and thinking, who will think it through.
Ryan and Kyron work hard. Kyron's quite quiet.
The next challenge will take them to the waters of Patagonia, the southernmost part of South America. Within the space of 10 days, the team will attempt to do 3 swims in water temperatures between 4 and 10 degrees Celsius. The team has had to be creative to prepare for the conditions ahead.
Basically what we've been getting is a huge tub that they have just chucked a whole lot of dead fish out of. They fill it up with municipal water and chuck some crushed ice in there and bring the water temperature down to about 1 or 2 degrees. We've been jumping in there, we've been in anything from 2 to 4.5 degree water, and the longest we spent was 16 minutes.
In the water.
The first swim is across the Strait of Magellan, and the second is across the Beagle Channel. The third will be a world's first attempt to do a mile around the southernmost tip of Cape Horn.
We might be able to get a Guinness World Record for the first people to swim around Cape Horn.
However, the weather is extremely unpredictable at the Horn, and obviously you're in the oceans and there's no support, there's no emergency facilities anywhere close by.
It has been a big cost. It's hopefully it'll all be worth it though. We will come back with having set our goals, having accomplished them, and achieved them.
Right now, the day before we go, I'm feeling relieved that it's tomorrow.
And you always carry a speedo, goggles and cap in your bag, because that's the only thing we really need when we're there. It's been a long day. We've ostracized ourselves from everybody on the plane. Students don't like us anymore. Everyone around us hates us. We've got 4 hours to go. We walked outside and it was cold. It was about 4 or 5 degrees outside, so it was suddenly very chilly.
And the next minute we saw everyone's pointing at the minivan. There was life-size decals of us stuck all over the minivan with big, in Spanish, 3 swims in 10 days. It's no one done before, so we kind of felt like heroes without knowing it, you know.
With no hotels in the area, the South Africans rely on the hospitality of their host family.
We were very much brought into the family. Our bedroom was right next door, their bedroom. We, in fact, I think some people had moved out of our bedroom so that we could sleep there. We were sharing bathrooms, we were sitting with them.
They took care of us as best as they could, and I don't think we could have asked for better.
It's a very small little town, so it was obviously a very big thing for them, and there was a lot of press coverage and stuff. So the mayor from the town on the one side of the Strait of Magellan and the mayor from the side on the other side were there. They kind of handed out certificates, and you know, we like really felt like royalties and stuff like that. But the funny part about it, we had speeches and all the good things, and we got this certificate, well done for swimming, and the race was cancelled because we couldn't swim on the first day. The wind was too bad, so we cancelled it. So you know, so it was quite interesting standing there and getting a certificate and without doing the swim as yet.
On day 2, when we arrived for the swim, all we had to do was focus on the swim. You know, there was no ceremony. It was, we arrived, we put on our quazzies, our caps, a bit of Vaseline, down to the water, and the swim started. In Patagonia, the Navy in particular, I don't think are used to seconding swimmers.
The role of the second is to make sure that, number one, you're swimming in the right direction, because you can't see where you're going, and big waves, you could be swimming in circles and you wouldn't know that, okay? Number two, they have to, and that's the most important thing, to look after your safety. They have to make sure that you don't get fatigue or hypothermia on you, etc. And probably the other thing which is very important to many swimmers is encouragement, because you swim, it's an unknown territory, you have no idea how long it will take you.
You're just a little head in the water. You're nervous, you're icy cold, you're going hypothermic, your brain's starting to function slower, your lips can't move. And all they could do was go, bien, muy bien, yeah. And you're trying to communicate and say, how much further, where am I, where are the others, am I doing this right?
And Magellan, I haven't seen Andrew, but he had to, you know, his legs basically clamped like this.
As the swim got longer, so my cramps started, the intensity started increasing.
As he touched dry land, his legs just locked, cramping.
The one Navy officer came running over with a blanket and everything else. Yeah, I need a couple of minutes just to try and get myself out the water, because also for us, yeah, one of the swimming rules is you can't be helped out the water. So I wanted to get out the water by myself.
Open water swimming has various rules. Most swims, you have to start from dry land and finish in dry land. Okay, one speedo, one cap, one silicone cap, and one pair of goggles, and that's it.
Good, yeah, finished good.
Yes?
It's quite rough. Lots up and down,
yeah.
eh? Good.
Yes.
1 down, 2 to go.
Okay, it's Friday morning and we're about to leave for the airport. We're finally on our way to Port Williams, the southernmost town in the world. It's going to be icy cold. That's where we're based for the Beagle Channel.
Following the passage of world-famous swimmer Lynn Cox, the men travelled to the world's most southern town of Port Williams. In 1986, Cox swam across the Beagle Channel to promote peace between Argentina and Chile. Like her, the men will be swimming from the Chilean town to the shores of Argentina. They will then attempt to swim back again.
It's really a very weird place. You know, if you Google things to do in Port Williams, it says nothing kind of stuff.
The music you can hear in the background is blaring from that little cafe there.
We were sick. varying degrees. You know, the day before we did the Beagle, they thought we should go to the doctor. Kyron was the only one brave enough to go, and he was told he had pneumonia.
And then it was the decision what to do now. So I was given the antibiotics, and they warned me against swimming. I was swimming the next day, and yeah, I carried on swimming.
It's the island where we stood here. You see that little island here? No?
Here.
Here, okay, from here to here.
But we had one major session before our Beagle channel where we had a room full of naval officers. We had a girl who was translating for us, trying very hard, but she wasn't very good. And it was also very hard for her because you got 10 people who want to talk at the same time.
And we had to make sure, where do we start? Where are we going? Had to measure the distance. We had to look at the current and the tide map. Okay, we're sorting out passport control with the authorities because we are going to swim across border here. We've done all the Chilean passport stamping. Now we're going to the jetty. There's a Navy vessel that just came from Argentina. You can see this is the Chilean Navy and this is the Argentinian Navy.
On day 4 of the expedition, the South Africans were ready to swim across the Beagle Channel. Conditions were ideal for the swim, but unforeseen water conditions made things difficult.
We started, I was very worried about the currents. I could see what they were doing, and I expected on the way to Argentina, I expected more of an effect. I think maybe we started quite fast and we started strong, that the current had less effect. We had a point which was a buoy that we were aiming for, and I could see we were drifting past. So I tried to correct. Ryan was swimming to my left and he wasn't correct.
And all of a sudden, from absolutely flat, the water just started churning up, almost like someone was shaking a bottle and you were water jumping all over the place.
And I looked around and I was worried that maybe that was my hypothermia.
I just remember Kyron and us both stopping and looking at each other in our icy state and just saying, what the hell is going on?
And thank goodness I had Ryan by my side, because he verified that I'm not losing it and I'm all right. And I said, Ryan, this is crazy.
And we'd read a lot about the whirlpools and we'd heard about these notorious whirlpools in the Beagle that you just don't want to get stuck in. All of a sudden we're in one and we've got no one close to us. And
the boat was way behind, either with Andrew or Ram taking pictures. They weren't very concerned at that stage. We then carried on and we ended up drifting more and more, and we ended up about a K down from where we were meant to be finished.
We arrived with no towels and no clothes and actually no body to see us there at all. And we could see in the distance people running from all angles. But they didn't bring towels, they brought cameras and they were more interested in shaking our hands and taking photographs.
Started shouting. I think I sent a mare up and down a cliff a couple of times. I might have sworn at him, I'm not sure. But I was very apologetic afterwards, yeah, apologetic afterwards.
All 5 of us succeeded in swimming across the Beagle Channel, but not only once, we did it twice, so we completed a double on our first attempt. But it was an interesting experience. It was cold, very, very cold, and that catches up with you, especially when you're not in your own turf, when there are things like whirlpools and penguins and very large seals swimming below you, and funny looking jellyfish too, not the little stingers we used to back home, big guys. And now the real prep for Cape Horn starts, and I think we're all very nervous about the Cape Horn, not just the swim, the actual journey there. It's pioneering, there's so many unknowns. It's just been pointed out to us before our Beagle swim that the boat in the distance is what is taking us to the end of the earth, Cape Horn. We hope when we get to it, it looks better, but I'm going to zoom in. Doesn't look sturdy enough to me. This is our deadliest catch perfect storm vessel. This is it, guys.
The captain, yeah, he was an interesting guy. I think we tried to get a straight answer out of the captain. We struggled to. We thought it all had been organized and that he knew exactly what our intentions were. We needed to go from Port Louis straight to Cape Horn and travel through the night to be able to do the swim, come back and be able to get on the plane that was transferring us back to Punta Arenas.
Here is the only place where you can actually put the boat and go and swim.
We set sailing and we thought that was all organized until he stopped, and he told us that no, we couldn't go through the night.
I told Claudia, listen, we are very upset. We are going at night. Whatever it takes, if we need to go in the Navy, we have to get there by 6 o'clock in the morning, because we had to get there for the right current. If we miss the right current, according to all the story, there's no swim.
Eventually we just left there and sailed right through the night, which they were very nervous about, the captain, because there's a lot of crab traps out there with floats and stuff, and if you can't see those kind of things, they could have easily gone into it. For me, Cape Horn was the hardest of the swims. It's very difficult to it's not the swim per se, it's the package that goes around it. You're stuck on a boat, you're eating terrible food, you're getting nervous because we all knew it's going to be the hardest and obviously the coldest of all the swims.
What should we do with a drunken sailor? What should we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? We travelled from Port Williams, travelled all the way down. There's Port Toro, that's where they wanted to stop for the night and we said no. So we set off again through this rather dangerous open stretch all the way through, all the way down to Martial, where we are now. Now the last little jump down to the Horn. Very exciting.
I said I'm a little bit nervous, especially when I see that big wave breaking there at where we're going to swim. It's probably a submerged rock.
So what are you going to do if you swim over the rock? And the rock exposes
swim around the rock.
Ah.
You don't want to swim into a submerged rock because it sucks you in and it tears you open.
It's interesting. I went up to the front of the boat where the skipper stands, and as we neared Cape Horn, and you could almost see his pupils sort of getting bigger and bigger. You could see the fear. You could sense that this was a special place.
Looking at the size of the swell, the greyness of the sky, the darkness of the water, it's all pretty forbidding.
We just rounded the front of the Horn, so we've officially gone around the Horn, and suddenly you're very much in the real world, and nerves have set in for sure.
Here we go!
Sorry.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Here we go again.
No, Brandon, súper bien.
Yes.
Jump in, yes.
Okay, ready? Why are we doing this?
Because it's rough.
Go!
Let's go!
Outside. Okay, guys, we're swimming a little bit in into the lighthouse, okay? Okay, where's Ronnie?
Yeah. Suerte, que Dios los acompañe. ¡Woo! ¡Woo! ¡Vamos!
You know, Ram and Kyron were in the water, like drop of a hat, followed by Ryan, and then talks. And I like kind of stood there saying, am I doing this? Am I not doing it? I've already done what I'd kind of set out to do.
Yeah, go!
Then you start swimming to the other end, and you swim and you swim and you swim, and you stay at the same place, because we try to plan everything as good as we could, and then the currents were wrong, so we swam actually against the current.
Probably 20, 30 strokes into the swim, Kyron stopped and said, we're not going anywhere.
We try to sort of change direction and swim towards land. Maybe there was less current the closer we got. I think there was a bit of confusion, and Ram and Tux then swam opposite. They swam further.
And Andrew and Kyron and Ryan went a little bit shallower, and they're stronger swimmers, so we started splitting up. And
I think once Ryan and Kyron put their heads down to swim, off they were, and I was on my own again. We had one duck, 5 swimmers, all over the show, in like the deepest, darkest sea. Wasn't a great feeling.
A little Zodiac boat met us underneath. There's a big albatross monument at Cape Horn, which ironically commemorates all the sailors who have lost their lives there in the sailors' graveyard. We use that as our endpoint. So, you know, you always, as a swimmer, you always need something to look at high up on a hill to give you a direction.
The rocky terrain, dangerous conditions and notorious currents at Cape Horn meant that a dry start would have been impossible. After jumping from the boat, the men swam for more than an hour and 10 minutes and covered a distance of approximately 2.5 kilometers between the 2 most southern lighthouses in the world. With safety as a priority, the men had no alternative but to be collected by the Chilean Navy.
Back on board.
Yeah.
On board, back on board. Woo! But I think this is the one trip I can say very comfortably that I was super keen to get home, to see Nikki, my pregnant wife. Just the kind of hardships we went through, you know, it was a rough trip. I was delighted to get back and eventually land in Cape Town and have such a warm, friendly welcome at the airport.
Hello.
What I'm proud of myself for is getting off the couch and overcoming all the unbelievable hurdles to get to this Patagonia trip.
When you go and do these kind of things, these type of trips or adventure or swims, you have to come back and share it with others.
And to know that these swims are doable. I mean, it doesn't take an incredibly, there's nothing really special about me. People can do these things. People can set goals.
And even if we hadn't, you know, just trying to do something that you think you can do is great.
You know, the mind is very powerful, because you tend to forget the really bad stuff, and you always remember the good stuff, and that will make us go and look for another swim. You know, you never know which is the next challenge.
There's so many places to go, so many things to do. Life is a bit short, but we'll manage, yeah.